Howdy folks, our project today is putting together strapped cargo pallets using coffee sticks, masking tape, and matchsticks. And if you're up for it, you like what you see, hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. The tools we're going to need today are a couple steel rulers, a pair of side cutters, some masking tape, some painter's tape, a sharp box cutter knife, sandpaper, a hot glue gun, some pre-painted barrels and crates to put on the pallets, some 5mm coffee stir sticks, matchsticks, and some super low viscosity crazy glue. Diving right into our construction, you're going to tape down a steel ruler on your workspace. That'll make measuring a lot faster. Then we're going to measure out 3mm marks on some of the 5mm coffee stir sticks. With that done, we're going to slim down the 5mm stir sticks to 3mm. Simply use your steel ruler and cut off a 2mm strip from each of the 5mm sticks. Next up, we're going to cut down the 3mm coffee stir sticks using your side cutters. Each short plank should be 3 centimeters long. You'll need 7 short planks for each pallet. This next stage is probably the most tedious of the build. We will glue a matchstick to a 3 centimeter plank. You'll need 2 of these per pallet, so if you're building 10 pallets, you need 20 of these assemblies. The matchstick gets glued flush to one side of the plank. You'll notice I use 1, 2, 3 blocks as heavy weights to hold the planks while gluing. You can use anything that is heavy enough not to move while the glue is setting. With those built, trim the edges off the matchsticks so they match the length of the 3 centimeter coffee stir stick. Don't worry about the edges being unfinished or rough at this point. The edges of the assemblies now need to be sanded down. Ultimately, you want them to be as square as possible. To accomplish this, put some sandpaper on your bench and sand each side perpendicular to the sandpaper. Turn up some music and sand away until all the pairs are sanded nice and straight. We now have all the parts we need to put the pallets together. To assemble them, lay down some painter's tape turned upside down so the sticky side will hold our 3 centimeter planks in place. Tape down the strip at each end so it does not move when we start assembling the pallets. To help guide in the assembly, tape down a steel ruler that we will use to measure the proper spacing of our pallet and their planks. Measure out the proper width, 3 centimeters, for each pallet, then add the 5 planks starting at the ends, then the middle, then the 2 planks on either side of the middle plank. When done properly, you should be able to measure 3 centimeters from the outside of the left plank to the outside of the right plank. Once those are placed on the painter's tape, we will use our matchstick and plank assemblies to create the legs of the pallet. Place them about 2 mil from the edge of the pallet with the matchstick side facing outwards. When you're satisfied with the placement, add a drop of super glue to secure them. Lather, rinse, and repeat until all your pallets have legs. Give the glue a minute or 2 to set, then we'll add the center matchsticks. Simply drop a matchstick down the center of the upturned pallet in between the legs and secure them with a drop of super glue. While not critical, do your best to avoid gluing the planks to the painter's tape. With the assembly complete, we can now remove the pallets from their carrier strip. They should be solid at this point and will be able to endure some manhandling. Don't worry if any of the painter's tape stays stuck to the pallet. We'll be cleaning that up later on. If a plank pops off as you remove it, as it did for me here, simply glue it back into place. Now to clean and trim our pallets. We do this by snipping off any overhanging bits of plank or matchstick. At this point, your pallets should be 3 centimeters by 3 centimeters. Once the snipping is done, we will sand each side and the top and bottom of the pallets. This is when you can remove any remaining painter's tape from the pallets themselves. This is straightforward but laborious work that goes by quickly when you turn up the music and just sand, sand, sand. With the construction of our pallets now done, the coloring starts. I use wood tone inks and flash paint them nice and sloppily, getting into all the nooks and crannies. Wipe off excess ink and move on to the next pallet. Choose whichever color interests you and paint your pallets as you see fit. Turn on your fave music and have some fun. Be sure you are thorough and ink all of the pallet. If you miss a spot, the original light color of the stir stick will be very noticeable. Set them aside to dry as they need to be thoroughly dry before the next step. Grab a lighter color paint of the ink that you used, and we're going to dry brush some wee highlights onto the pallets. Today I'm using a Vallejo Bone White for both the light and dark brown pallets I've built. No need to be too precise with the dry brushing, as you want a bit of a stained and tattered look. In addition, a lot of these pallets will be covered up with cargo. Remember, when dry brushing, there is always more paint on the brush than you think there is. Dry brush away until all your pallets are done to your satisfaction. Put these aside for drying. With the pallets painted and ready to receive cargo, we grab our pre-painted oil drums and crates and start a fun game of Tetris. You want to stack the cargo on the pallet in as square of a shape as possible. While this does not need to be perfect, stack them in such a way as they would not fall over and they look good to you. When you're satisfied with the placement of the crates and barrels on the pallets, glue them into place. Hot glue and/or super glue can be used for this. If you use hot glue, do your best to ensure you do not squeeze out any glue so it can be seen. I find hot glue more suitable for just getting the crates and barrels onto the pallet itself, and the super glue is used for keeping two crates butted up to each other. This next stage of the build is the real secret sauce. We're going to make decent looking strapping simply from masking tape and ink. This is a very easy technique I was shown years ago. While we are making pallet straps today, this technique works for making any kind of strap, including gun straps, tank stowage, and really any detailed piece that needs to be tied down somehow. Place a length of masking tape down on your bench and lightly sand the top of it. This will ensure the inks we're about to paint them with will stick and not crack off. Next, grab a steel ruler and slice the masking tape lengthwise every 2 or 3 millimeters. Then strip away every other strip. This will leave you with a nice set of stripes that will turn into our straps. Once you have your straps cut out, grab some ink and give the masking tape stripes a good soaking. Let the ink dry thoroughly. Now we can attach our straps to our pallets. Using a knife, lift one edge of the strapping from your bench. The tape should still be sticky enough to attach it to the bottom of one of your pallets. Add a wee drop of super glue to keep it in place. Next, wrap the strap around the cargo in a manner that makes it look like the cargo is strapped down to the pallet. This can be a bit fiddly. To manage this, I use tweezers to move the straps around where I want them before gluing. The only real trick to wrapping these straps is that you want the glued ends hidden underneath the pallets. Repeat this process for all of your pallets. And now we're on to the final construction phase of our pallets, and that's to add some decals. Using a product called Microsaw will help the decals set into all the crevices on the crate or barrel. There's no need to put a decal on every crate or barrel, just enough to catch a viewer's eye when they look closely. The exact amount is up to you. The very last step is to take your pallets outside or somewhere vented and give them a solid matte clear coat. This ensures they'll have some durability while being batted around your battlefield. And with that final step done and dried, our project for this week is done. Enjoy them as scatter terrain or details on another model or diorama. Thanks for watching, folks. And if you had some fun today, please don't forget to like and subscribe.
The Emperor wishes you a lovely day.